Is it possible that some souls have already been stirred?
You can make a decision to fight for your family's freedom.
250 years for the United States of America and 25 years for the Alliance!
Are we ready to have an incredible weekend?
Welcome to Family Reunion.
The main rival you should compete against is the performer you were yesterday.
If you let go of who you are, you got a shot of becoming who you might be.
I can tell you it's worth it.
Why shouldn't the next life-changing story be yours?
Who resents poverty in this room?
Good is the killer of great.
You won't bet on yourself. How can you ask me to bet on you?
Why not me? Why not now?
Legacy, opportunity, the American dream. 250 years of America, 25 years of the Alliance.
Hey, what's going on? Oh my gosh, we've been in Thailand now, what,
Coming
10
up
days?
on 10 days now.
It's been absolutely insane. So grateful for our company, The Alliance. We've traveled more in the last 7 years than we have previous to that.
So grateful for the Alliance, just everything it's allowed us to do, not only for ourselves, but our kids. We're about to go hang out with the elephants. Let's go.
We are here in James Bond Island. We just took the new rides. It's a beautiful day. It's been raining all week, and it didn't rain today. So it was a perfect day to be out on a boat, surrounded by great people. It's been absolutely amazing.
We are in Thailand right now and having the best time. Let me tell you one thing, you have got to qualify for these trips. So we go to Portugal next year. Make sure you are there.
Today was a dream come true for me. Elephants are my favorite animal, and the Alliance took us to an elephant sanctuary where we got to bathe the elephants, make their food, feed them. It was just an incredible opportunity.
Questions, don't be scared, and get to it. If you're brand new here, it is not impossible to make one of these trips. It's going to take some work, but it's totally worth it.
Have fun, we make money, and we make a difference. Alive.
From Phuket to Chiang Mai, Thailand, this is what happens when hard work turns into unforgettable memories. Thailand gave us the views, but the people gave us the memories. Don't miss another Alliance trip.
The Bible says, he who loves to sleep and the folding of hands, poverty will set upon you like a thief in the night.
People get in money problems because of behavior.
Someone's opinion of you does not have to become your reality. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. Not only was our
take ownership of that education. It's up to you to take ownership of that knowledge and to take ownership of your future.
Welcome to the Wednesday Call Live. Now let's hear it from our special guest host, Spencer Albright.
What's up, Alliance family? Happy Wednesday. We are coming up on I hate to say it, the end of summer. Yesterday, I walked outside, felt that fall air. I was like, it feels like football season. So the year continues to fly by. Thanks, Andy Albright, Dad, for letting me host today. Thank you, managers, for sharing the call with your team and letting me get some great points across. I've got some great guests on the call today joining me and talking about our assets and helping appreciate those today. So I'll give a quick background on myself for the new people out there across the U.S. joining. I'm Spencer Albright. I'm the son of Andy Albright, the CEO of the Alliance and now Integrity Partner. And to go into today, I want to try to jump into it quick because we have a lot to cover. One great thing about being raised in the Alliance family was the exposure. I talk about it all the time when I'm traveling around to these meetings and telling people, like, I got to see things that a lot of people didn't see. I got to see leaders. I got to see people having success and great income. Got to see people making friends, mending marriages, just awesome things in their lives. So I got that exposure. And I think my dad, he was happy just to have me around. He didn't know if I was going to be a part of the business or something, but he liked having the whole Alliance as an asset of him to help raise his kids, essentially. So me and Haley got to see things that a lot of people didn't see growing up, and that was a great asset that he built up and he appreciated, and then he used that to help build my value. So I love growing up in that culture and being part of it, and I really appreciated, you're going to hear that word a lot today, I appreciated my parents exposing that to me and giving me those opportunities. So I was just telling my guest here right before we got started, our media team, I'm out at Alliance headquarters in Burlington, North Carolina. They came up and gave me a lot of exciting files, I'll call them. So a lot of exciting things going on. And when people have been asking me lately, like, how's it going? I'm like, it's great. I got a lot going on. And there is a lot going on within the Alliance, within my business and within all of our businesses right now that some of us may or may not know about. So the big thing that a lot of people are striving for and working towards right now is Portugal 2027. So if you're new out there, or if you're not new, if you haven't heard, from now until the end of 2026, all of our agents across the country have an opportunity to earn a trip to Portugal. All expense paid, gifts every night. It's indescribable. We'll talk about it a bit today. These trips that we go on, they're hard to describe. We just got back from Thailand in the spring this year, but amazing trips. So you have the opportunity to earn those trips. And we just got 3 new winners: Adam Johnson, Kath Shaw, True Love, and James and Pamela all just qualified for Portugal 2027. So I will see y'all there in Portugal. Now, along with Portugal, we have our main way of earning trips, which is selling, recruiting, and building. We can earn points through our policy sold, and eventually managers can earn points for their teams as well. But there are other exciting ways to earn points towards that trip. One of those is with our recruiting bonus contest. I'll call it recruiting bonus contest number 1. So our top 10 win big. And now this is a 2-parter contest. So the top prize for this is 250,000 bonus points for Portugal. So if you're participating in this contest, number 1, 250,000 bonus points, and number 15 gets 10,000 bonus points. So if you're in the top 15 of this contest, you have opportunity to earn those bonus points. Now, how this contest is working, it's essentially leaderboard based. So that means those that leaderboard, that top 15 are all getting bonus points for the contest. And if you're within that leaderboard, you're getting points. And this is based on your recruiting width and depth. So not to get into the nitty gritty, all the details, I'll tell you exactly where to find them. They're on the ARC. But recruiting and bringing in new agents and getting them to write business, you are earning points for that leaderboard contest. So that's given you a big opportunity to take a big chunk out of the 400,000 points needed for Portugal. Along with that, why I say it's a two-parter, NLG, National Life Group, and MOO, Mutual of Omaha, have both agreed to join in on that contest. And for their participation, same criteria, recruiting, width, and depth, and getting new agents to issue paid business. They are also doing dinner and drinks at Integrity Marketing Group Club. So this place is amazing. It's all decorated, private, nice, great food, great drinks, great socialization. If you are in this contest, you have opportunity to go up to the club with one of those two carriers and get training, more in-depth training on what they have to offer us as agents. So that's a great contest for Portugal. We also have the Portugal Power Contest. So slightly different from the leaderboard based. This one is speed based. This one is about finding width and depth and getting them issue paid business. So a total is 5 new agents issue paid, 3 in width and 2 in depth. And it is the first 2 to accomplish that. So, I did want to go back on this. So going back to the first one real quick, Josh and Alexis Parker are in first, James Smith second, Chris Paycheck third, Adam Burge 4, and Lewis Morris here at HQ number 5. So that's who you're chasing down for that leaderboard contest. Now, back to Portugal or bonus points contest number 2, the 25,000. So this one is a race to get those new agents in width and depth issue paid business. And currently leading that race are Josh and Alexis Parker, James Smith, and Lewis Morris. So those are who you're chasing down in that race for the 25,000 bonus points. Now, that one, there is less points for first place, I guess, but it's more speed-based. So if Josh and Alexis, which they're number 1 on 2 leaderboards right now, they're hunting it down. If they get to that power contest criteria first, they're going to earn those 25,000 points, and then there's only one more spot. So that one is about speed. Now, those are for bonus points. That's awesome. That helps us get closer to the trip. So we have our personal points that we're earning on our own. We've got bonus points from these contests. And I mean, I was talking to a new agent and she's like, man, I went to family reunion. I got bonus points there, NBC bonus points, but I know it's still going to be tough for me to earn Portugal, even if I get bonus points. And I said, well, there's a way that you can win the whole trip through Mutual of Omaha. So Mutual of Omaha has also chipped in for an entire all expense paid trip for you +1 for the top rookie producer and the top veteran producer for Mutual of Omaha since family reunion that we just had in July up until National Boot Camp in October. So if you're a rookie or a veteran and you're thinking, man, that's a stretch earning that Portugal contest, it's going to be tough, I'm going to have to grind. Maybe for some people I've talked to, they're part-time, it's going to be tough to get that. They have an opportunity still to earn that Portugal trip if they are writing Mutual of Omaha policies, which we know is a great carrier. They've got some great product selection. So another good contest for y'all to look at. And let's see, I've got a leaderboard for this one as well. So leading that for the veterans, James and Angie Coleman, Yvette R., Scott Kustra, Omar Q., and Michael Weinberg. So, well, that's pretty cool. We got two of the top 5 in the Raleigh office. And then for the rookies, we have Megan B, Diamond Joe E, Pamela Punch, Luke C, and Cara G. So if you're those agents, you're in the top 5 for the Mutual of Omaha rookies and veterans to win that trip to Portugal, and you still have from now until it's just a little bit under 2 months that you have remaining for that Mutual of Omaha contest. So 3 big things that we're all searching for, that we're all trying to get to Portugal with. There's other stuff going on too. There's other contests that are going on. ExamFX and Excel both have contests going on for new enrollments. So if you're recruiting and building, you're finding new agents, you're helping people get into class and get licensed, use those resources because they are raffle based. They're doing bonus money essentially. And then F&G has a contest going on, Mediator Debt Solutions, Mutual of Omaha Quarterly, Foresters Quarterly, Lincoln Financial, and Corebridge. These are, I'll just say, these are the ones that I could find when I was trying to find every contest. So that's what I mean when I say I've got a lot going on, because I'm talking to new agents about these contests, trying to get them to know what they have to win. Like, oh, and here's a great thing. If you're working towards these contests and you're winning and you're on that leaderboard, your business is also growing. If you're earning points towards Portugal, that means you're out there selling insurance, helping families. And if you're earning bonus points, that means you're helping new agents get in and grow their business as well. So these are all contests. We say it a lot of times. The contests are tricks to help you grow your business. So we need to know what's going on all the time. And I think it was somebody here at headquarters, I said, I try to keep up with this stuff so I know when I'm talking to that new agent, for example, that really wants to go to Portugal, I know I can tell her, hey, there's a way that you can win. We've got a contest going on. And I mean, a contest is only as good, it's only good to you if you know about it and if you're participating in it. So we could have a billion different contests going on, bonus money, bonus points, this and that, whatever. But if you don't know about it, or if you're not participating in it, then it's not of value to you. So with that all, I know I mentioned a lot of bonus point opportunities. National Boot Camp coming up October 16th to 18th. That is another really big opportunity. Veterans get 50,000 bonus points. And if this is your first event ever, you get 275,000 bonus points towards Portugal. So well over half of that trip you're earning just by showing up to an event that is going to change your business and teach you the things that you need to know and that you can implement the very next day. So if you do not have your ticket to National Boot Camp, make sure you talk with your upline. There may be some discounts floating around. I've heard they've been getting pretty thin, but the tickets are on sale at theallianceevents.com. So make sure that you are signed up and have that event on the calendar. Now, with all that said, the Alliance can create all these opportunities. The carriers can help fund it. The carriers can create contests as well, and we can announce it every week, but you have to do something with it. So a couple weeks ago, I had a conversation with my dad and my brother-in-law, Brandon Manley, and he was drawing out our organizations, which is great to do if you've got it. Call it white sheeting, draw out your team, look at who you've got, where they are, what's going on. But he's drawing out our teams with us and saying, like, look at these people that you have that are great people. And look at these people next to you that are great people. Look, you've got the headquarters. You've got James Coleman, Eric Belair, Ryan Chang, all these people within your organization, sideline to your organization, or at the top with the Alliance headquarters. Those are assets in your business that you need to be using. And I think we have within the Alliance a lot more assets than we realize. We take some things for advantage, especially like myself, even though I've only been in the business a few years, I've been around a while. I take advantage of some of the relationships that I have, some of the carriers that are doing great things for us. Even though they're assets to me, I don't treat them like such. So I need to improve on taking advantage of those relationships and appreciating my assets so that they appreciate. So Les Giblin has a great book that I've been reading, Confidence and Power in Dealing with People. And it's crazy because I just finished this up a couple days ago. And as I'm planning this call for this week, there's a specific section in there about appreciating your assets. So in a literal sense, here we go. To appreciate something is to raise it in value. So if you have maybe a collectible item, or often our houses can go up in value depending on what the market does. If you have gold, often goes up. These things are appreciating, they're increasing in value. And we usually hear it as a form of gratitude, which is also true. But as Les Giblin talks about, he's saying when you appreciate something, you have gratitude for something, you increase its value. So you are appreciating it 2x, 2 times appreciation. So we need to apply that to our businesses with all the different assets that we have. We don't need to let them just sit and depreciate or treat them like nothing. If you had a super fancy Ferrari in the garage that is going to go up in value every single year, you probably wouldn't let it get dusty. If it's drivable, you want to make sure the battery stays charged. All these things, you want to take care of it and nurture it so that it continues to go up in value. So before you leverage an asset, before you say, hey, I'm going to use the value of this Ferrari maybe to sell it or use it to my advantage to get me a new relationship, you have to know everything about it. So we need to know about these contests that are going on for our business. We need to know about our upline. Upline is a great example. Who is somebody you know that has solved a problem that you are having in your business right now? We have, generally everybody has somebody that they can reach up to and ask for help from, and that person has experienced more than likely the same exact situation that you've experienced, whether it's dealing with a client or a new recruit or planning a hotspots trip. Your upline has experienced that, so you need to leverage that knowledge and experience and apply it to your own business. Your downline. A lot of people are like, oh, I'm the upline. I'm the one doing the training. I'm the person that's connecting them. But your downline, they have their own backstories. They have their own experiences that they can apply to this business as well. I've talked to a lot of great new agents that have network marketing experience. They've grown organizations, or management experience. They've managed people, or internet marketing experience. So those are assets that they're bringing into my team. And I tell new agents this all the time, like, maybe you can teach us something too. Like, we have a lot of great experience. We can teach you about life, health, and wealth. Maybe you have great experience that you can teach us that we can implement to our business. So who's already in your organization? Who needs attention or exposure, belief, or an introduction to what we do? And then your relationships and access. At these events that we go to, NBC, Family Reunion, the hotspots, we have built a lot of great relationships. I mean, I started to write a list, but I was like, I know if I start doing this, I'm gonna forget people. But like Terry Edwards, Micah Noel, Diane Lampy, Davies, Abian, James Coleman, these are all relationships that I've had from coming to the events, going on the trips, traveling around, but that now I can leverage and I have access to, and I know any one of them would help me or somebody on my team if I needed. So our relationships with them, and then also our carrier relationships. Same thing. At these events, we have our carriers coming out. They're building relationships. Their job is to help us sell more of their insurance. And it's like, yeah, we want to do that as well because it helps us make more money. But if I've got a hiccup with contracting or a pending policy that I can't figure out what requirements I need, build a relationship with those carrier reps, and they can help us out all the time. And they love to help us out. Just had Sam from NLG down with us in Jacksonville, and he came out to our meeting and taught about different strategies for IULs and things that we can do that NLG will help out with this because I've met him and I've established that relationship. So we've got people, upline, downline, sideline, carrier reps, and just general relationships that we can leverage. Then we've got our experience. So this is a little bit different because people can come to events and not get the experience, not get the value out of it. So it's not just about attendance. Who did you meet? Which of these leaders that I mentioned? Which of these carrier reps? Who did you bring? If you were building a business, what new people did you bring to the meeting to give them exposure to everything? And then what did you learn and implement into your business afterwards? So it's always great hearing how excited people are. Sunday morning at an event, they're ready to go home. But then I know for a lot of people, they get there Monday, they get back to their office, back to their desk, and they don't implement things that they just learned. So even though they attended the whole thing, we've got to use that asset properly, we've got to implement that into our business the very next day. Conventions, these trips that we go on, Thailand, Alaska, Ireland, I think Cabo. I think I missed Cabo. We were having a baby. But these trips that we've been on to, I've gotten a lot closer relationships with other agents and leaders because maybe I don't necessarily travel to their cities that frequently, or we just don't generally, keep in touch. But since I got to go to a different location and hang out with them and do dinner and do activities like riding ATVs or walking on a glacier, get to use these trips. And then, of course, a big thing that I do when I'm talking to a potential new agent is, a lady asked me last week, she's like, do y'all do bonuses like on top of commission? I said, yes. We might make you go on an all expense paid trip to Portugal. Do you like to travel? And she's like, oh my gosh, I've been to Nigeria, I've been to Guatemala, Cuba, Dominican, started listing all these countries. I love it. She's like, I don't like airplanes, but I'm willing to risk it for the experience. And I said, well, we got experiences. So I'm leveraging that experience that we have to just attract a new person to the opportunity. And then so we have our people and our experiences, and then so many more things. Our headquarters here, I try to use it. I know I could do better, but it's right down the road for me. So right now I'm using this little fancy podcast room. It's an asset that I have. I have good friendships with a lot of our staff here, Nicole, Patrick, Lewis, Alex, Debbie. Again, I can't, if I start naming people, but I've got relationships with people here that I know I can call up and help them out. And they're accessible to the entire alliance. Oh, Clay, I can't forget to mention Clay. He's been helping me for a long time now. But we have the headquarters here. My story is an asset, my personal story. It's different. It's unique. I can talk about how I was raised in the Alliance. I got to go on trips growing up. I got to go to a boarding school. Not a lot of people say that. Go to NC State, do lots of cool things. I leveraged my own personal story as an asset. Successes, my personal success, or other people's success. Somebody asked me last week, it was kind of hey, I need to make sure that I get started and I'm able to do this before I start telling other people. And I was like, you were at that meeting last week, right? They're like, yeah. Like, you heard how much James Coleman's made in the last year, right? Yeah. Well, that is a example of success and an asset that you can leverage to bring your new people in. Like, not everybody wants to hear my story. I still tell it. I try to use it, but they might want to hear Marvin Osuna or Emily Katz or G. Chris Robinson. They might want to hear a different story. So I'm leveraging those leaders, their success to get new people into it. The President's Club is another great asset. They provide tons of resources that will help you grow your business more with clients, with recruiting, with training. So President's Club is a great asset. And then two things that I've been pushing on a lot lately, the 8 steps. I mean, we have this written down, simple things to follow that we can talk to new people. So if a new person says, hey, what do I need to know? Here you go. So this is just asset. There's copies all over. If you don't have a copy, shop. I'll do a quick ad. Shopthealliance.com. You can get your 8 Steps to Success book. You can get Alliance apparel. And then next, our coin, which, I mean, it's been an asset for me recently, just making sure I carry it with me all the time because it helps me think. So one side of the coin, what do you want? The other side, how do I get it? So now carrying this with me all the time, I'm always thinking, what do I want? You know, do I want a new agent? Do I want to write this policy? And then the other side is, how do I get it? So I'm always thinking about that. Great leaders inventory their assets. So I just gave a long list, almost the entire time I've been talking, listing contests, events, people, carriers, all these things that I have inventoried over the last couple of days that I need to make sure I appreciate them so that they drive up in value and they help grow the value of my organization. So I have 3 amazing guests today that I just mentioned: Marvin Osuna, Emily Katz Cardillo. I might have said Katz. I always forget to add the Cardillo. Emily Cardillo and G. Chris Robinson. And we're going to talk more about this subject of leveraging your assets with each of them. So G. Chris, you've been around the Alliance for a few years now. I want to guess 10. You can tell a little bit of your backstory for sure. More than 10?
More than 10.
All right. I'll let you give the backstory. Well, how about you introduce yourself, you know, where you're from, how you got connected to the Alliance, and just brief highlight.
Yeah. Thank you. So you can only remember 10 because you're so young. That's why you're saying 10. But anyway, good morning, or good afternoon, everybody, wherever you are. I am G. Chris Robinson from Mobile, Alabama. We're on the Alabama coast. I have enjoyed being a part of the Alliance since 2008, Spencer. Prior to that, I was a 25-year veteran with a captive company. And if you don't know what that captive company means, it means you just don't have options. You got one plan, one company, and that's it. And long story short, when I decided to become independent and take those blinders off my eyes and figure out what else might be out there that would help me and my clients that I was trying to serve, life insurance is a big deal, and I needed more options. And so I just jumped on the website, actually got on the internet and started looking around and I tell the story all the time, but I saw a picture of this company called the Alliance, and then there was a picture of the guy that I thought I was talking to and his wife and his beautiful family and all that in front of a beautiful house. And then I took him up on his invitation to meet him at corporate there in Burlington, and I got to meet Eric Belair, and that was not the face that was on the ad on the internet there. But great guy, but he sold me based on that ad. But anyway, got there, and the rest of it is history. I have really jumped in. Back then we didn't have what we have now, back in 2008 with the Alliance, and so all the companies, the connections and all that, the relationships is what stuck me here. So where you want to go next?
Good. I like it. Well, jumping into it quick. So when you started, you know, you can talk a little bit more about your getting started journey, your process. But you had some good insurance background, so you had some knowledge. But when you got to the Alliance, what was a valuable relationship that you didn't really like recognize was an asset at first and would help you build at first, but then down the road, shortly or long after, realized, okay, I need to use this to my advantage?
Well, starting all over again basically is what I did in 2008, just like I started in 1984. Many of you don't even know what 1984 looked like, but that's when I started that. And the similarities, kind of looking back, were the same. I started with a manager that hired me in 1984, and with the Alliance, I started with a manager that hired me, so to speak, right, in 1984. So, looking back as I look, that relationship it morphed into something that I needed it to morph into. That many agents now don't do that. They don't take advantage of what that hiring manager can do for them. And I don't know, maybe in some of your friendships or relationships and all that, you'll not want to bother those people with questions because you think you're bothering them. Oh, I don't want to bug him. I don't want to bother him. But my manager at the same time was in his office going, I wish he would bug me. I need to know what's going on with him. Is he plugged in? Is he going to produce? Is he learning the product? Is he helping people? What's he doing? So while he was wondering what I was doing, I didn't want to bug him. And a lot of times we find that that's what our agents today are doing, that they don't want to bug. And so in the not bugging process, they want to maybe send a text, call me when you can. I would rather you call me that's what leveraged me, was having the freedom, especially like with the Alliance, with all that Eric Belair was able to pick up in his product knowledge and what a zeal he has for the business. Eric never didn't take my call. When I learned because when I was young, I didn't know my manager wanted me to come alongside him rather than him just taking score. That's what I thought it was all about. Is like, am I going to be able to perform right? And with the Alliance and the opportunity even now that we have now, it's that way. That's morphed into a relationship where I decided I was going to stay. And this is what it's going to take. I'm going to stay here. I'm going to write here. I'm going to make money here. I'm going to serve people here. And once I figured out that I was going to stay, then I'm, like Spencer was talking about, not only looking to your upline, but I started looking to my left and my right and the people that were doing well. I wanted to run with them. My mom always said to me, you serve the people you want to live like, and you will live like them. You will become that kind of those kind of people, and that's what happened. So I looked to my left and my right, my agents that were doing, my friends that I wasn't direct to or upline to, as well as to my upline. And thank God that I made friends with those people. We always say what Andy says, make friends with people before you need them. And that's kind of what happened with me, is just turning that mentality of this hiring manager now expects me to perform, and I'm here and I don't want to bug him. So you do nothing and you end up leaving or finding a real job or something, when you don't have to do that if you just plug into your people like Spencer's talking about.
Mm-hmm. Well, you kind of answered all three of mine together, but so you can adjust me if I'm misspeaking here, but you kind of said, hey, this is the guy that hired me. Like, he's the one that's supposed to be teaching me. If I don't know something or I need something, I'm calling him up. Like, absolutely. I'm not sitting and waiting around, because I think, and you've experienced this now too, from a manager's perspective, sometimes we sit around wondering, why is our downline, what you were just saying, why are we not hearing from them? I don't know if they're working or they're piddling their thumbs, what they're doing, but you took advantage. You're like, hey, this is my manager. I'm going to use him how this business is designed.
Absolutely. And knowing he's interested in my business, not just because it's going to make maybe an advance for him financially or an advance for him on a level, but because he really wants me to get to that next level. He really does. I mean, he really wants me to live better. He really wants me to be more free. He really does want those things for me. And maybe it's 50% because he's going to get the same thing if I exceed and I find somebody else that can do that. So it's just that whole plugging in thing and deciding you're going to stay and plant your feet here. And man, Spencer, you have a plethora of people around you that you can plug into. But I'm just glad that you're kind of part of you're our upline now, and we can kind of follow you into some of those strategic relationships.
Mm-hmm. So you would definitely strongly encourage people, new or experienced, like utilize your upline.
Utilize them, call them, bug them, text them, let them know that you need help. Don't just wait because you're one of hopefully a bunch of people he's trying to help or she's trying to help. So, or assist or become a part of your business. Think of it as a business partner, a friend, that somebody you guys are plugging in together, but you want to survive and you want to do well with this business, you've got to bug some people. Don't text him and say, hey, can you take a call? Call him. I'm going to call Spencer. I'm not going to ask him, hey, can you take a call? I'm going to call him. I'll call Eric. I'm going to call Andy. And if they can't pick up the phone, they know that I called. They'll call me back. But they want to hear from you, and you need to be talking to them a lot.
I like what James Coleman said. I think I heard him a few weeks ago when he brings on a new agent. He says, I look forward to working for you. Because, yes, it's a partnership, and we are the hiring managers, but we're working for our downline. Like our job is to teach and help you learn the business so that you can succeed, and then you can go on and repeat and bring new people in and teach and replicate. So,
and by doing that, then not to interrupt you, but then by me doing that, as I bring new agents into the business and I turn them on to Eric and his product knowledge, or turn them on to you and your recruiting knowledge and all this stuff, as I'm saying you need to call him, then they're saying, why? Well, because he's proven it to me that he can show me how to do it. Let him duplicate this inside you, become friends with them just like I have. So, yeah, it's awesome.
So that's really good. I definitely see that a lot. Knowing new agents that need to take advantage of that help that's there for them. So what relationship, and you may have already mentioned it, but what relationship in the Alliance has produced the greatest return for your business? So this could be a carrier, could be President's Club, but what relationship have you seen have a good return?
It's almost a tie. I love Gina. It's probably going to be Gina Hawks.
That's a good one.
The fact that she, as busy as she stays and as involved as she is in training and always in a different city every day, somehow she finds a way to find the answer if I need one when it comes to training. She's always returning phone calls or telling me where to find the answer. But then, a close second for all these years, since 2008, we started at the same time. It's a close second. It's going to be Eric Belair. He's always been there when I needed help, a question answered. I've got an unbelievable kind of risk in front of me of a lady that's impaired and got all these things, but I want to help her. And I call him and he said, yeah, just this, and this. And I'm like, that's exactly what I needed. So that's a top two right there.
Yeah. Gina is definitely a good one. I think she has helped out my business more than I can quantify. So Gina Hawks, if y'all go on theallianceevents.com, you'll see her picture 10 or 20 times in 10 or 20 different cities, and on the Alliance University as you go through some training. All right, but those are great. And yeah, Eric, his enthusiasm just, it's like, I remember sitting at a meeting, I can't remember which meeting it was, but I had a new agent, not on my team. I think it was on Sean Boone's team, sitting next to me. And he was just like laughing and then he would sit up in his chair like this, just intrigued by the training that Eric was doing. So I know he's given some value to a lot of agents.
Well, I don't know if Eric's ever known this, but I tell everybody, I don't guess I've ever told Eric, but I tell people that I call him the Energizer Bunny because his batteries just never do wear down. I don't even know that he sleeps. He's just the guy that you need in your ballpark.
All right. Well, what access do people have today that you think is underutilized?
Well, I find it crazy that people just don't know automatically, and they don't know what they don't know when they start. And sometimes you hear a year or two or three, but the fact that we have these amazing carriers with a risk assessment line. When you just really don't know if something's going to work on an application, you really don't want to be embarrassed and all that kind of thing, you can call Foresters and talk to the risk assessment line and say, this is what I've got. She's this tall, she weighs this much, she's taking these meds, she was diagnosed with this, and all the things that you know. And the lady named Gloria there is like, she is so underutilized, I think. But people... A lot of new agents just like, well, maybe they got to get online and find a grid and see if it's going to work and all this kind of stuff, when it's just as simple as calling them or Mutual Omaha and saying risk assessment line in the underwriting area and get the answers to your questions and start quoting it. And then if you're still not comfortable with that, call your upline, your downline, or your sideline and just talk about it.
Yeah, I think that's good. A lot of our carriers are extremely accessible and help out agents. And I remember there was one point, I think maybe when I was just a lot of new agents contracting and trying to get new business in. And whenever they asked a question, I would just say, just call the carrier.
Yeah.
Like, you don't call and say this or that. Like, call the carrier. They'll have somebody that will be able to point you in the right direction. And I mean, risk assessment, that's one of the hardest things getting started. You don't know who to use or what kind of policies to write. So that's good. So utilize the carriers that we have, these awesome companies that let us distribute their products, utilize them. Well, appreciate it, G. Chris. That's some good insight on your career being tenured here. All right, Mr. Marvin Osuna, you've been around the Alliance for quite a while too, I know, but one thing that's cool is you have added more recently new experiences to use to your advantage, which has been cool to hear about. So tell us, about yourself and your background a little bit. And then, I think you should start with that point on the new experiences.
Definitely. Thank you. Thank you so much, Spencer, for having me on this call and to be able to share with you guys. My name is Marvin Osuna. My wife, Rachel, and I have been with the Alliance for 15 years now. And we thank God every day for this wonderful opportunity. And this is so much fun, just being on here with Emily, being on here with G. Chris, and of course, Spencer, our host today. It's really cool to be able to go back and forth and talk about these experiences. But, for myself in particular, it's a very unique situation when you talk about experiences or new experiences with the Alliance. So to give you an idea, I was with a company for 11 years as a captive agent. And then I came on board with the Alliance. But during that time, I was not able to travel outside of the U.S. So I've been in the U.S. for most of my life, Spencer. But for, I'm going to say 38 years, I could not leave the United States. We came in here into this country under this political asylum situation that we applied for. There's a lot of stuff going on in our country, and my parents almost died, and thank God we were able to get out of there in time, but I was only 11 years old. And so I didn't know about all these, legal situations and stuff like that. All I knew is that we had this restriction where they would let us stay in the country, but we were not allowed to leave the country. And so we worked on that for many years. We paid several attorneys, several $1,000s. And nothing would work. They would say, you're okay. You don't have any legal issues. Your background check is clean, no problem, but you cannot travel outside of the United States. And so when I heard about the trips, you were talking about the ability to travel and how you share this with brand new people. And I know that lights people up, especially if they're just looking for the next place to travel, and you go, well, you can go on an all expense paid trip to real destinations, where you could have life-changing experiences. I heard about that in my very first year with the Alliance, and I thought, oh my God, this would be so great. This would be so cool. And so, we started working, of course, going to the event was massive for us because that really opened my mind to start dreaming, coming to an event for the first time. So I started to dream, and I was hoping that I could eventually travel and go with you guys, to all these amazing places. I would see the pictures, videos, and stuff like that, but I couldn't go. So I started qualifying for the trips. I would, write the production that was needed, or if it was recruiting, I would do everything that I would need to do to qualify for the trips. And at the end of the year, maybe around the months of like February or March, I was like, man, I hope that if a miracle happens and they finally approve, my petition to travel, then I could go, but I wasn't able to. And so thank God that Andy allowed my wife, Rachel, to go on these trips and, bring one of the kids with her. And so I was super happy. Even though I couldn't travel and I couldn't do any of those things, I was so happy for them. Rachel would always send me videos like, hey, this is going on, that's going on. I don't want you to miss anything, and I really wanted to be there because I could see the camaraderie, I could see the association taking place in a different way than it does, for example, when you travel to a hotspot and you hang out with the leaders or you go to the conventions. But it was very, very different because I would see them spending a lot of time together, going on excursions, creating new memories, out there, just doing fun stuff or, goofy stuff and things that become a inside joke for the rest of your life. And I'm like, man, I want to be part of that. And so my very first trip, so by the grace of God, in 2023, I was able to travel. And prior to that, I did qualify for Hawaii, one of the trips. And so to me, Spencer, the opportunity to travel with the leaders and to be able to seek them out and say, hey, do you mind if I join you for breakfast tomorrow? I want to know how to grow my business. I want to learn this. I want to learn that. And everybody was like, yeah, man. Yeah, it's cool. And so to me, being able to travel with you guys and the first out of the country experience that I had was to Ireland. And so, I mean, it's kind of crazy. You think about it and you go, okay, I've never had a stamp on my passport. And now, bro, my passport, I got to get a new one because now it's got so many stamps. It's like just all over the place, just traveling. I really like the Thailand stamp is really cool. I got one in Japan. I mean, check that out. Bro, it's so cool because I got to go to Ireland and my very first stamp was in England because, we traveled from Dallas, Texas to England, and then we changed planes to go to Ireland. And so to me, that was a surreal moment. The fact that I got to travel with you guys, with the leaders, with the top producers, the trips, man, a whole different meaning for myself and my family. And we're just getting started, man. Now, like I was telling Andy the other day, I'm just catching up, man, for all those years that I couldn't travel.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. And I'm glad that you're able to now get to go anywhere that we go and get to come hang out with us. But I like the one thing that you quickly added in, like while I'm on these trips doing these amazing things, I'm grabbing other people that I don't necessarily get to spend the same amount of time with when I'm back home. So like, yeah, we're out having a blast, but you're still trying to learn things to grow your business while you're out doing that. So I like it. And now that I know you may have been on some trips prior to getting your passport and being able to travel abroad. But how do you use those trips as incentive or kind of like attraction for other people that maybe they're looking for income opportunities, they're looking for growth, but looking for more fun as well. How do you use those trips to bring those people in?
Yeah. So one of the things that I saw early on was that if Foresters was promoting something where you could travel somewhere, or Mutual of Omaha, I would try to qualify, because I was like, if it's within the U.S., I got to make it. I got to be there. If something is going on where I can qualify to go to Integrity headquarters, then I'm going to be there, because what that does is it just allows you to see the bigger picture. And now I can say, I had a great conversation with Brian Adams, and I know who he is, and other leaders, and so what I do is I always try to capture moments and post on social media, and also, share it with our team on WhatsApp and all the other groups that we have. But then I get questions from people like, hey, where are you right now? What are you doing? And, what is that all about? So for us, social media has worked really well in terms of attraction, getting people to become excited. Right now, we have a lot of people that are real close to Portugal. So we're really excited that we're going to take people for the first time with us to these amazing trips.
Yeah, that's always fun getting a first-time earner, because like I said earlier, it's hard to describe to people what these trips are like. So when you got a new person, they're about to go on their first one, it's exciting. Well, that's good. So the trips are great and fun. Now, another event that a lot of people have to travel for, they may be able to drive a few hours or take a flight. I know for you, you're usually coming over here to the East Coast, but the events are another great thing. And you did touch on it a bit earlier, but I like, what is the difference between you and another person that goes to the same event? You're sitting right next to each other, hearing the same speakers, the same breakout sessions. What are you taking away from it that is an asset to your business when you go to these events?
Thank you, Spencer. You know why this has so much value? Again, for me individual, I can only, speak about my experience, is that for 11 years, working for, another big insurance company as a captive agent, we didn't have conventions. We didn't have these gatherings where you could meet with the top people and learn from them. Everybody was doing their own thing. And they would send you an inspirational quote like once a month, but they wouldn't tell you, like, this is what I'm doing to grow my business. This is how I make six figures. There was only one of these events that you could qualify once a year based on your production. And if you qualified to go, it was a training event. It wasn't like a fun event. It was a training event. You had to pay off, for everything. Like it was kind of like if you qualified for one of our trips, but then you have to pay for everything. So it was weird. But the people that were there were just surface level. They would never, talk about what they were really doing. And so having to be in that environment, Spencer, for 11 years, and then coming to the Alliance and saying, you don't have to qualify to go to National Boot Camp. You don't have to meet certain requirements. You just have to get to the event. You just have to, even if you're brand new. Because when I went to my first event, bro, I was broke and I was broken, both beasts in one sentence, where we didn't have money to go. A lot of people know our story, but we may have some brand new people on the call today. I didn't have enough money to go, so we started selling a bunch of stuff. We started borrowing money here and there because I joined the Alliance 1 week before the event. And so at the time we were losing our house. I had bought another house for my parents. We lost that house to Rachel got in a car accident maybe like 2 months before. So we lost our car. The insurance paid for it, but we ended up not having transportation. And so we were just trying to figure things out. And this event comes up, and, you know, leaders tell you, hey, if you don't do anything different, don't expect different results, because that's insanity. Just doing the same thing and just trying to survive all your life, but not making big sacrifices. And so Rachel really took that to heart. We were still short like $400 because, you know, back then, I don't think Priceline or these other companies were not as big as they are now. And it was like a $1,800 expense just for me to go, you know, because it was 1 week before. So I know plane ticket was over $1,000. And she pawned our wedding rings. She took our wedding rings to the pawn shop. I didn't even know she did that. And she came back and she's like, here's the $400 you need to go. You need to go to that event. They're telling us that this is our shot, that this is what could change everything. And it literally did, because when I got to the event, Spencer, I can tell you, you know, it was out there in Raleigh at the convention center in downtown Raleigh. And, you know, I didn't know anybody. So I was just walking around, just thinking like, okay, this is what we got to do. I have to take notes. I have to record. I have to do everything that it takes so that I can come back and recover our wedding ring, so that I can come back and I can put food on the table. You know what I mean? And so, to me, what was really special about an event like that is that even if I didn't know anybody and there was like 2,000 people in the room, during one of the breaks, Patrick Connors approached me and he said, hey, what's your name? How are you? You know, here's my phone number. You know, he introduced himself to me, and he's been texting me ever since for the last 15 years. He didn't even know me. We're, you know, different hierarchies, didn't know anybody, but just the friendship and how warm he was, and just thinking, wow, you know, this is really cool. He's not even part of our team, but he, you know, he's interested in me succeeding, you know, and I know Missy also introduced herself, Missy from headquarters, and she's always treated me like a friend, even before, early on, like a friend, and a lot of respect and everything. And I'm like, oh man, you create that expectation where now you have people that you want to not impress, but you want them to be proud, and you want to live up to their expectations. And I was sitting there, man, I'm telling you, there was 2,000 people in the room. Chris Gardner was the main speaker. So listening to Chris Gardner and listening to Andy Albright, man, I felt like I was the only person in the room. And back in those days, we would promote these big events at church, and I would tell people, you know what? Don't worry about anything. Just sit at the front. Don't worry about your buddies or people you came with. Just pretend it's you and the speaker. And so I applied that same concept to that convention. And now when I go to conventions, and because that literally changed, like I said, it changed our lives, because I came back with all the knowledge and inspiration, and, you know, just went to work and started making money, recovered our wedding bands, all of that stuff. But now when I go to conventions, what makes it different for me, and, you know, I love your question, Spencer, is that now giving back, I want to do the same thing, and I try to do the same thing that Patrick did for me. I go up to people and introduce myself, even if they're not in my team, and I, you know, cheer for them and just tell them, hey, I look forward to seeing you at the next event, you know, things like that. And I also, before I walk in the door, this is kind of crazy, but you got to trick yourself. Before I walk in the door, I tell myself, you don't know anything. So you got to sit here and you got to learn from the people that are succeeding. And that has to be my attitude and my thoughts every time I go to an event, because that allows me to sit there like a brand new person and learn and just have the respect and the expectation for everything that's going to happen at a convention.
Well, I love that answer, and I like kind of what you're saying at the end there is you're your experience now, you've been in this business a bit, and you're still going to every event. You're promoting them, to your team. So of course you want to be there to help and support them, introduce them. But even as you're walking into that door, you're still saying to yourself, you don't know anything, so that you can continue to benefit from them. And I think that's a big thing, is for that new person that maybe family reunion was their first event. National Boot Camp is not the same event. Not all the same people are going to be there. You're not going to hear the same things. Somebody might tell the exact same story they told at family reunion, but you didn't notice one detail. But at National Boot Camp, you will hear that. So I like that. Still going and learning with an open mind. But that's awesome. Using the trips and the events as assets. You appreciate them, and you're making them more valuable for yourself and your team.
Yes, sir.
Thanks, Marvin. Yeah. Did you have one more thing? You look like you had another thought you wanted to add on there.
Oh my gosh. The one thing I wanted to say is that if we start appreciating these events a lot more, and we see the value of a national convention, then we're going to go from 2,000 people at one event to 4,000 people at the next event, where we're going to have overflow rooms and stuff like that. Because if we really appreciated these events, then we would all decide to double and bring one more person so that we could do this fast. Because, our events are world-class events, to where we need thousands, dozens, but so many people there. And so I truly believe that we can start appreciating what you guys put together for us, so that we can double the number in a short period of time.
Yeah, I agree. And I did thank you for reminding me too. I want to make sure to not get through the call without this. Our staff, the Alliance headquarters staff, that's an extremely valuable asset that they have. They help us out with our businesses, but as y'all come out to the events, you'll see Debbie running across the back of the room, to make sure she's on the camera for the next speaker, or you'll see Patrick introducing himself to new agents, making sure, and then Tia is running around like crazy with her headphones. So staff out there, appreciate y'all for putting on the events, because they help out our teams a lot. But yeah, they do a good job and they crush it. So we need to take advantage and get more people to those events. Thanks, Marvin. All right, last, definitely not least, I thought about this. I was like, why didn't I do ladies first? But I think you got a good wrap up for us here, Emily. So your organization, I know, has been growing rapidly, got some exciting things going on, and you and Harry have been dividing and conquering, where you're just telling me how he's been traveling a bit lately and couldn't get you all in the same room. So tell, a little bit on your background, of course, and then you can go right into this first question here. How do you recognize leadership in someone, and elaborate on that?
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Spencer, for having me on the call. Thank you, Andy Albright, for putting this together and this opportunity. So a little bit of my background, I actually got similar opportunity to Spencer to grow up Alliance. My parents have been best friends with your parents for the past 35 years. And I was born in 2001. Alliance was started in 2002, I think was the start date there, somewhere around there. And so I got to grow up around the environment and just fell in love with the business. Went to my first event, mine was the same as Marvin's, and just fell in love with the culture, knew this is what I wanted to do. So I got my insurance license when I turned 18, immediately went off to NC State, got my bachelor's degree in business marketing while I was doing insurance part-time. And then when I graduated with my bachelor's at 19, I started doing this full-time. And now I get to build the business with my husband, Harry Cardillo, as well. So yeah, kind of jumping into that first question of how do we recognize leadership? I think the really cool thing is Andy has given us the blueprint of who we're looking for with Alliance Alice and Alliance Aiden. So Andy's made it really easy to say, hey, this is the person that we're trying to find. This is somebody who tends to be more successful. Anybody can be successful. And if you're looking at it, which if I looked at the Alliance Alice, there's not every single criteria that when I got started, I met. So anybody can be successful. But as we're recruiting and we see, okay, somebody who has had success prior, somebody who has a belief in a higher power, somebody who's been educated in some form or fashion, those types of things are things we're looking for whenever we are trying to find that next business partner, that next person to be successful.
That's good. And I think, too, a great thing is who does something. You know, that's a sign of a leader who's taking action. So you've got those. Jeff Bright's done a good job of explaining that Alliance Aiden and Alice and these strong correlations. So there's strong correlations when you're looking for people, when you're talking to people of who may become a leader. And then, of course, what actions do they take? Or if they're the, best looking, nicest suit, watch, fanciest person, but they don't take action, then odds are not in their favor. Well, that's good. So when you do recognize, when you see somebody that's fitting those leadership criteria and they're taking steps to move forward, how do you foster it? How do you help guide new leaders as you have them on the team?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think kind of adding to what you were just talking about, I know one thing my dad has always talked about is, on one hand, whenever we are partnering with somebody, we think they're going to be the next Alliance superstar. And on the other hand, at the same time, we think they're going to quit in 90 days. and that action piece is definitely what shows which direction somebody's heading. But when you have somebody that, hey, I think this could be somebody, and especially if they are immediately taking action, then one of the first things we're trying to do is we're trying to go meet them in their city. Traveling, grabbing a cup of coffee, dinner, meeting their spouse, doing something, definitely trying to build depth, because Andy talks about all the time, you don't really have an agent until your agent has an agent, because that's going to lock them in more. Getting them to conferences, getting them plugged into all of the meetings like the TWC, the product call, the activity call, the pop-up events that are happening, making sure they know about the contest like you were talking about, and really just trying to foster that relationship. And so we've had really cool example. We have a new guy. He's been around for a few months here, but Amit up in Pittsburgh. And so whenever Harry first talked to Amit, wasn't the right time. And then Harry was traveling with Andy, doing a meeting in Pittsburgh, and he thought about Amit and just called him up that day and was like, hey, can you come meet me at this hotel? And we've got a meeting. And Amit came out, got excited. Very great background, IT profession, very successful in real estate investing. His wife is a very specialized and successful radiologist. And so right people. And then on top of that, he started writing business. He started networking, getting people in front of us. So Harry and I flew up to Pittsburgh. As soon as he had that stuff moving, we had dinner with him and one of his new agents. And then we were just back up in Pittsburgh last weekend, and he had 10 people at his house for this opportunity. And then one of the women there, she now has put together an event that we're going back up in September to do again in a few weeks, because she's got a group of people that she wants us to talk to. And she asked us at that meeting, she's like, how often can you come up to Pittsburgh? And my answer was, I mean, if you're doing stuff as often as you need, we're going to go wherever the fire is. You're not going to make money just sitting back at home. So we do Zoom calls, we do all those things, but most important is, how can I get in front of that person and help them reach their goals?
I like that. I think it's great that y'all are saying that. So as you're saying this, I'm thinking I'm kind of getting excited for you. When you got a new leg brewing and they're getting other people in, they're getting other people excited. It's exciting because it means more income, which is great. But when you're going out and you're talking and you're training, how are you focusing on the relationship aspect more than just keeping it transactional? Because it is exciting from that aspect, from that point of view. But we're not just in this business purely for money. Like, we're in this business to build relationships and help people. So how do you balance that as you're going around?
Yeah, I think it comes from taking a step back. Zig Ziglar talks about if you help enough people get what they want, you'll get what you want. And obviously, we all have families that we're trying to take care of. We all have our own personal goals, and we are financially incentivized to help people. So there is that piece of whenever you bring somebody on, helping them be successful. Yes, that's also going to help your bank account, but you don't get that. I love the system Andy has set up of your person makes $1, I make a dime. And so it is, we win together or we lose together. And I don't want to be winning or losing together with people I don't like. And I think it really goes back to just the example your dad set of, he's had relationships with people I know from my parents for 35 years, and they do life together. And that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for partners who I can do life together over the next 20, 30, 40 years. Harry and I aren't looking for somebody who's going to be here and then leave in 3 months. And so I think if you ultimately know what you're trying to get, we're trying to get long-term relationships. And if you take it back to the bank account too, I mean, having somebody here for 3 months and they quit, that's not good either. That you never have a real business if that's what you're going for. But I think it's just keeping that mission first of, we're looking to build long-term relationships. We're looking to help people get their goals. And Andy set that example of when you have a big enough dream, everybody else's dreams can fit inside of it. So I think our responsibility as leaders is to make sure that we are constantly building our vision. So it's not just, how do I get this car that I want? How do I get this house? It's, how can I help change the world? And that allows us to have a bigger perspective than just the short term.
Yeah, that's really good. And so you're building these relationships, you're traveling out to see people, and we talked about it a little bit today, being duplicable. So you want to find a leader and then teach them how to repeat and find a leader themselves. So that's kind of tough sometimes. So as you're talking to, it was Emmett that's up in Pittsburgh, Emmett, or another one of your leaders, how do you teach them to recognize a new person that they've brought on and take the same investment and put into that new person?
So I think it's just talking about it. I mean, I definitely didn't enter into this business understanding what leadership was exactly. I mean, I came around to the events, but I'm grateful that my dad would talk about, hey, this is who we're looking for. And I saw examples of him working and of the leaders he was working with and why he's working with this person. One of my favorite things about Andy is he doesn't just do what he does. He'll step back, especially if you're traveling with him and you in the meeting or you get on the jet, and then he's like, this is why I was doing this thing. This is what I was trying to get from this question that I asked. I'm trying to see how they answer this. And based on that answer, it's going to indicate this. So I think one thing I definitely need to do a better job of is talking about it, of here's who we're looking for. Here's why I like this person. And the more you talk about it, that's going to help everybody to be able to identify those leaders. But then Andy also talks about working in depth. It's not just, I don't think it's fully delegating. It's not, I'm just telling this person of, hey, here's the characteristics you're looking for. Now you go do it. Definitely at first it's, hey, here, I'm going to go do it with you. And then we're going to talk about it. And the next time I'm going to join in, but you might not need me as much because you've already kind of picked up on it. But you're always looking for that next leader wherever it is.
Yeah. I like that. The very last thing, hey, I'm going to do it with you, so we're alongside. I mean, it's kind of like a ride along, if you're going out to a client's house, hey, we're going to do this appointment together, you're training, but like we're doing it together so that you can learn. And same thing on the business building side, like, hey, let's build together so that you can gain more independence and confidence in yourself when you're building by yourself and don't have me right next to you.
Yeah.
That's extremely valuable stuff on the team aspect of this. And I mean, looking for people that you want to spend a long time together with in business, traveling the world, going to events, doing parties. It's fun to think about some of the relationships that we have that's part of our business. You know, we get paid to do it as well. So it's cool. Okay, so I have a couple more questions, and we'll try to keep these, don't have to be like one sentence brief, but for everybody, I want to go around the room, so to speak. So what did you take for granted? We'll go reverse order this time. So Emily, you can start us off this time. What did you take for granted when you were getting started that you appreciate much more today?
So I don't know if I necessarily took it for granted. I was aware of it. I think I let my ego get in the way of fully taking advantage of the relationships I had and getting coaching. So I knew what was around me. I knew that there were people to help me. But then in the moments where I was actually struggling, I don't think I reached out, especially at the beginning. And I'm sure I could say it's still to this day. There's a piece where I don't reach out as much as I need to actually take advantage of those relationships. So I think it's one thing just to be aware of it, but it's another thing to actually take the action when it's needed.
So for a new person or even a veteran at a meeting, at a hotspot, they meet somebody, they get a phone number, they have that relationship now. Don't just let that phone number sit stale on your phone. Reach out, call them, ask questions, make conversation would help you take advantage of that. That's good. G. Chris, same question.
Yeah, I love that question because it just makes me dig deeper, even like, where am I going tomorrow? Like, what I took for granted then, and sometimes I still even do, is that, you know, I can remember a day when I had to replace the air conditioner in my home, a central air unit in our first house. And, you know, I was like, you know, a typical person with a job is like, I don't know, borrow the money. I don't know what I'm going to do. But, you know, from that day to this day, I've become more aware that I can get what I want, just like your coin says. I just got to figure out how. I got the coin in my pocket too. So, like, just find what you want and go and get it. This opportunity allows us to do that. So I have had, in that testimony, I've had a lot of agents say, you know, I had a medical bill I did not know how I was going to overcome. And you told me to go write a $250 a month IUL and it would solve it, and it did. Like, where else can you go find a career where you can just kind of like take care of people, but at the same time you're taking care of yourself, and it's above and beyond. Whoever said there's a ceiling in this business? Nobody ever said. I mean, go as high as a kite. But sometimes I still take that for granted. Like, I what am I doing this afternoon? I've got some time. I need to be on the phone. But just having the opportunity to do more and have more, and not, it's not about being wealthy at all. It's just about being able to do what you need for yourself, for your friends, for your family, to have the freedom, the travel, and a life that doesn't make you look back 65 years ago and say, I wish I had not have been on that JLB clock.
Yeah. I mean, that's a great point. The opportunity in general, we all have to take advantage of. You can go out and work. Dad says it all the time. It's just WORK. It's just work. We get paid to work, sit around. So you've got that opportunity. You got an insurance license. You can go out and make your own. That's
and
good.
dreaming talk is more fun.
Yeah.
With people like you and I have done that. You and I have talked about things that you want to do and you want to change and you want to have bigger, better, whatever. Just in life, we're all like that. But we're in the industry to be able to do that and enjoy that conversation. It's not like, well, if it ever happens,
it's like when it's going to happen.
Yes, and I'm going to plan a trip to make sure that you get, I'm going to come up there and enjoy what you got.
Yeah.
So I just love what we do.
Yeah. Marvin?
For me, I think that what I took for granted in the very beginning is focusing on the basics. Why? Because a lot of us come in with an insurance license and maybe years of experience, and not focusing on the basics could be a detriment to our career. Why? Because we have an author. Andy Albright is an author that has written several books. And number one, The 8 Steps to Success. If we not only, there you go, you brought it up earlier in the call. If we focus on teaching the basics, just going back to basics every single week with our team, especially the brand new people. Andy said the other day, being able to mail them a copy of the book and talk to them about the 8 steps, talk to everybody about the 8 steps. And if we're taking time with our leaders to read the Millionaire Maker Manual, the Green Book, I think if we look at those resources that are just so important, and we're willing to unlearn what we knew before, because that's what I had to do, was unlearn and then learn everything all over again, is focusing on the basic stuff, 8 steps to success, focus on that with all of our new people, and working with our leaders on the Millionaire Maker Manual so that we can grow together with the same direction. It's not different thoughts and different voices from everywhere, but it's actually the instructions that Andy put together for us. So I think that for me, that's huge right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's cliche. I hate cliches, but back to the basics. I mean, we have them written down. We have people that teach them well. So utilize that asset. Well, thank y'all for that great answer. For those out there across the U.S. listening, I hope you got some good stuff out of that. Now, I do have a bit of homework for everybody. So my 3 guests here and everybody across the country watching, do an audit of your assets. So I've listed, all 4 of us have listed a lot of things today that we can use to our advantage within our business. We need to appreciate them so that they appreciate and grow in value. So grab a sheet of paper today, this evening, and take an inventory. People that have assets, they know what they have. If you got a Ferrari in the garage, you know it's in there. You know what the details on it. So take an inventory of your relationships, the contest going on. Books is another great asset. I see Emily has a nice display up there behind her. But if I don't know what books I have in my bookshelf, then how am I going to know what I'm going to read next? Go on theallianceevents.com and look at all those hotspots that are coming up, all the different leaders and Gina Hawks that's all over the country. Take an inventory of that and think of who you know in those cities. These events, the big events, National Boot Camp in October, National Convention in January, the trips, put those trips on your calendar if you want to be there. If you're striving to earn that Portugal trip, put it on your calendar next year. I've got it on my calendar. I just was talking to a guy from my boarding school, and he's like, "Are you coming to your 10-year?" We don't have an anniversary because there was only 90 students in the class, but alumni weekend. And I was scrolled all the way through my calendar next year. I'm like, I'm gonna be in Portugal. But that trip's been on my calendar since the beginning of the year before I earned it, because I knew that was a goal of mine. And then get in touch with the Alliance headquarters, Clay, Amir, Patrick, Lewis, Leslie, Debbie Woody. They know, they're in this every day. They know what's going on. They can help you discover other assets that you have access to that you may not be using. And then what do you have that you're letting it lose value because you're not using it? So as you're taking an inventory, what of these things that you're listing are depreciating and not being more valuable over time? And then What will I appreciate this week? So now I have a list. How am I going to appreciate it and help it build value in my business now? What action am I going to take to implement that asset into my business? I gotta read this off. I don't think I could memorize it. So we spend a lot of our lives and our businesses searching for what we don't have, the next recruit, the most amazing leads, a different strategy, other opportunities, maybe a relationship, or the answer. But sometimes it's not acquiring a new asset. It's appreciating the assets that you've already got. If you appreciate your team, raise their value. If you appreciate your relationships, invest in them. If you appreciate your upline, call them, use the access. If you appreciate the conventions, bring somebody and leverage it. If you appreciate the opportunity, do something with it. Appreciation isn't what you say about an opportunity, it's what you do with an opportunity. So stop asking, what does my business, what does the Alliance have? Start asking, what does it have that I'm not using in my business today? Take inventory, recognize your assets and appreciate them, and then teach your people to do the same. What you appreciate can appreciate. What you fail to appreciate can depreciate. Don't just own the asset, increase its value. Thank you, everybody, for jumping on today. Leaders, thank you for sharing this call. I will sign off today, August 26th, Meredith Albright's birthday. So for those of y'all that are buddies with her, shoot her a text. Happy birthday, baby. I love you. And thanks, Alliance family, for jumping on today. I will see y'all on Friday.